Good morning, good afternoon, welcome. Welcome to this World Electrolysis North America pre-event interview. I'm joined by Dakota Kelley, President of Corvus United. Hi, nice to meet you, Dakota.
Nice to meet you as well, Vaughn. Thank you for having me.
Brilliant. So to start off, would you be okay giving a bit of insight into your background and what brought you into the hydrogen space?
Sure. Background is an architectural engineer, which is most people just hear architect and think buildings, and that's mostly accurate. But was trained both by education and the first part of my career doing mechanical, electrical, and plumbing engineering, primarily for buildings. The employer I was with at the time was blessed enough to have engineered Toyota Motors North America's headquarters as they relocated from California to Texas, so better part of a decade ago. And once we completed that project, we had made wonderful connections with their sustainability group, and then were invited to work on some additional projects. Probably the biggest flagship one that brought us into the hydrogen space was a joint venture between Toyota and Fuel Cell Energy at Toyota's Port of Long Beach facility. They were in need of hydrogen for fueling into the Mirai passenger vehicle that they wanted to increase U.S. imports for, and needed a reliable fueling source. There was also a Class 8 pilot program, semi-truck pilot program that they were participating in that also needed a reliable fueling source. And Fuel Cell Energy's molten carbonate trigen plant had the ability to provide their new building there at the port with both 100% renewable energy, as well as roughly little over a ton of hydrogen a day, which was going to satisfy the needs of both programs. We started out working under Toyota on that project, doing plant integration, balance of plant engineering, then kind of took off our Toyota hat and worked as a consultant under Fuel Cell Energy as well. That project led to another project. It was a R&D stationary fuel cell generator project that we had built for Toyota. They were approached to build a stationary fuel cell generator by a large software company here in the United States, and needed a partner to design the generator and the balance of plant. And that's what we spent pretty much the first part of the pandemic working on. We ultimately delivered it in the 2022. And it was at that time when we realized that the world needed better solutions in this market, and we launched Corvus United to be able to provide those.
Okay, thank you. So yeah, that sounds quite an interesting project as well, including offtake straight off the bat. So obviously with the project you've worked on now and potentially projects you've worked on since then, what challenges do you see in the market from your sort of, balance of plant integration perspective?
A general lack of standardization right now. So the way that I see it is we have a few markets that are relatively mature at this point, primarily renewable energy, whether it's wind power, battery storage, solar, that are all somewhat mature in terms of their DC design topology, DC power design topology. And I would say that the electrolyzer fuel cell market has not sort of standardized around the electrical architectures that those other technologies have somewhat agreed upon. It's very easy to find products that are rated for 1,000 volts or 1,500 volts. Battery storage and solar, for example, have migrated to this higher voltage, lower current type of topology, whereas fuel cells, electrolyzers are still operating, down around 400-ish volts, give or take. 400 to 600 volts seems to be a pretty common window. And what that does is it creates a mismatch between being able to leverage mature products for other markets and cross-pollinate those over into this new DC source or DC load, depending on how you want to look at your application. And so it leads to, needing custom parts or one-off solutions, whereas I think we have a huge opportunity to standardize around other products that are already available and streamline the balance of plant cost. The project I just mentioned, the fuel cell generator that we built for Toyota, was a really good example where if we had been able to, we could have used off the shelf, so to speak, inverters, power conversion systems, in order to take the DC power created by the fuel cell and simply go directly into, in our case, a 480 volt three-phase application. And because we had a voltage mismatch, we ended up needing to go out and put additional components into the architecture that added roughly $1 per watt in terms of overall balance of plant cost. And if we had the opportunity to standardize around a common voltage, like I was saying, it would have easily shaved about a third of our total build cost out of that project. So that's sort of the message that I like to preach to various equipment manufacturers and system designers, is that if we can standardize, then a lot of the work that the hydrogen industry needs to accomplish has largely been completed by the trailblazing, if you will, that utility scale solar and battery storage has done for the market.
Thank you. And given the work you've done in this particular area, is this something Corvus United can help mitigate in terms of challenges, or are there other challenges that you can also help, to reduce in the market?
I think we can. I think we can. A big item that not everyone is speaking about, but is very real, very important, is safety and certifications for these products. So the onslaught of new hydrogen solutions and equipment coming to the market right now are still, in many cases, going through testing, have not quite received, if you're in the North American market anyway, have not quite received the various listings, UL listings, certifications that are necessary to get a project permitted and pass the normal AHJ or authority having jurisdiction scrutiny that any of these projects will go through. And so expediting that process, making balance of plant more reliable and more cost effective, is going to be something that the standardization and certification process is going to directly drive. So the short answer is yes, we can definitely help with that, but there are some challenges around certification, like I said, that sort of force which components are available for balance of plant if you want a streamlined review. We can certainly assist with that. And our sweet spot is primarily plant design and deployment. So one of the goals that we have is to bridge the traditional gap between engineering and construction. Usually there's a loss of fidelity, if you will, to the original project intent as the project is handed over to a new party for construction. And so that tends to lead to miscommunication, cost overruns, rework, you name it. Any one of the challenges that I think the audience has experienced on their projects. And we really try to stay with the project all the way through construction, which forces our team to have a very construction-minded approach when we're doing a design so that it is truly buildable. You can find these parts, they are reliable, and they're cost-effective. And I think our ability to sort of straddle both sides of the design and construction fence enables us to deliver a higher quality project faster and have it operate more reliably post-construction.
Thank you again, Dakota.